Today I want to talk to you about boundary windows. I have talked about tickle windows in the past, but I realized these are all kind of similar to boundaries, so check out that old video when you get a chance. For this video, what is a boundary? All right, so a boundary is basically an agreement you set for yourself for how to handle and carry yourself in a situation. So for example, I have people in my life who sometimes are just tough people, tough personalities. So when I set a boundary for myself, so when I'm interacting with those people, the boundary might be, okay, I'm going to limit how much time I spend with that person because I know that they're just a draining person. You know these people, right? They're just draining. Now, if you think of boundaries like a window, if I set my window too far, okay, so an example of a time frame I might spend with a tough person is an hour. All right, I'll give you an hour of my time, then I'm going to move on and get out of this place, right? But if you set your boundary window too far, say you decide, I'm going to do 3 hours or 4 hours, or I'm just going to leave an open-ended window of how long I'm going to stay, but then I'm going to leave when I feel it. Guess what? This person that's a tough person in your life, you're going to stay with them too long. And instead of just kind of setting the boundary up earlier for yourself to leave and just get out of there, then you might push yourself further and past your boundaries. And that's that window. So there's these boundaries just make it easier for me to handle and move in this world. And then when I push past these boundaries, this is when I get more tense. And so the first portion past a boundary window is just irritated, where you just leave the situation with a bitter taste in your mouth. And you're just for a tough person, I'll keep on this example. If I have stayed past my boundary window and I'm in that irritated, I'll feel it. I'll feel it as I leave. I'll be like, why did I do that? Why'd you do that, Angela? Because you just feel that irritation, right? That's the first section in that boundary window that suggests, maybe you've pushed yourself past your boundaries. And then there gets a point where you've stayed with somebody for too long, if they're one of these people, where it's just like those tickle windows. You almost want to punch them in the face, or you want to punch yourself in the face for staying with them too long, right? So we need to set boundaries early on so that we don't want to punch people in their faces. And so we don't get so irritated that we are ready to do that, right? So and I don't really want to think about tough people. Even with good people, even with people you love and you enjoy spending time with, you may have a different tolerance for how much you want to spend time, at a coffee shop, for example, right? I actually like coffee shops. They tend to be pretty cool, but there's still a level of comfort and, there's strangers there. You may have some people that you like there, but you may not, right? And so even having a boundary around, you know what? I do well at a coffee shop for about an hour and then I want to get out of there. Or I have this really cool best friend, but then I still need to take time to myself, right? So the boundaries you set are to decide how you're engaging with people in this world. Or even boundaries can be thought of as when you're giving and receiving. So I always think of friendships as a give and take, if I have a friendship where I always feel like they're taking, but they don't give, then that may be the boundary of you know what? I'm going to set a boundary for myself that I'm only going to have friendships that are give and take. Right? And what's interesting if you think about these boundary windows is, all right, so every relationship has kind of a mix of give and take, right? And some are more, some are less, right? And so you may have one friend who's gives a lot to you. And so you may, in that situation, be able to spend a little more time with them. But if it's a situation where they're having a rough time, then that give and take needs to be kind of a mix and a blend of you know what, this is my time to give to them. So essentially, I could talk for hours about boundaries, and that's who I am. My job is to help people with boundaries. If you want more help on how to figure out your boundary windows and how to start establishing boundaries that are clear so that you feel like you're living in this world in a better way, please contact me. You can submit a contact form at my website, therapistsinstlouis.com. Also, please like and subscribe, and you can submit a comment below.